Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Or is it good morning? Or is it good afternoon? I don't really know. It depends on wherever you are in the world. I'm Tommy Thompson. Welcome to FDG-TV, where you're more likely to actually have a PhD in games research than to have earned a chicken dinner over in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. This is the third night of FDG-TV. This is our special late night talk show, or early morning, late afternoon, depending on where it is you are in the world. If you're still in your pajamas, doesn't really matter as long as you're here. Our talk show is all about kind of summarising some of the big events that happened at the conference today. And we're going to bring in a hell of a lot more cool guests for you to kind of hang out with, learn a little bit more about what they're up to, some of the goings on at the conference. And yeah, we're kind of going for a bit of a different theme today. So we previously had a lot of people from the main conference tracks. We've had some people from the workshops. Yesterday we had guests coming in from the keynotes. Today we've got a little bit more of a focus on demos, competitions, and also PhD candidates. So it's going to be a really nice mix today. Just to kind of a quick recap on what happened today at the conference. Also just double checking. People are here. Excellent. Hello. Right. So let's see, big things that happened today at FDG for day number 3 of the main conference. We already had the 2 days of workshops, but never mind. Sorry, I had actual caffeine and I'm beginning to think I'm getting faster. So if you're having trouble following along, find the nearest Scotsman to sit next to you. So first of all, today we had the games, demos and competitions session that ran earlier this evening, and we're going to hear from our correspondent on that today. We had a continuation of many of the tracks at the conference. We had HCI and player experience, the game AI track, the games beyond entertainment track, the game education track. No, I'm not reading this off a list on a screen in front of me, and the game criticism and analysis track. Plus we had a keynote from Luke Dickin, the director of applied AI at Zynga, called From the Ivory Tower to the Skunk Works, bringing research to life in industry. So it's been a busy day. One thing before we get into, in fact, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to introduce my wonderful co-host for the evening. Don't worry, we leveled up a little bit this time around. Is one thing I do need to say is that we have an important announcement, the vote for best paper. You should have received an email with regards to this already, which will give you a link to go and vote for one of the best paper nominees. Now, we need to get this in quickly so we can actually give out the award for best paper. You have until the last session on Friday, which I'm not going to tell you what time that is. You can go and look it up because it's going to differ depending on whatever time zone you're in. But you have to have it in by the last session on Friday so that the good people in the back end of FDG can actually go away and count all the votes. Thank God for computers. And we can then give out the award. So anyway, moving on. Like I say, we don't really want to have me on all the time. I'm really boring. I've been here 3 days in a row. You fancy a change of pace. So, with that, allow me to introduce my co-host for the evening, Assistant Professor in Digital New Media at Georgia Tech University. Please give a warm welcome to Anne Sullivan. Of course, appropriate applause.
I'm going to just pretend I heard that. Thank you. Thank you.
Can't hear the honks either. Obligatory honks.
I'm supposed to look around like I hear them, right?
That's what I do.
Okay, excellent. I know you said that you brought me in so I could talk, but I'm here to listen to you, Tommy. So
what? All right. Funnily enough, you say that. My wife just went upstairs. She just came out and gave me that look of, I've already had enough. I'm going upstairs to get away from this madness.
She's like, it's day 3 for me too.
Yeah. Like there's a big bottle of wine coming her way, I think, at the end of tomorrow. Like, thank you. It's like a barge. It's just gonna come in like that. But yeah, how you doing? It's so nice to see you on this side of FDG-TV because you've actually been an avid commenter for the last 2 nights.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be in the comments and like talking to myself. I figured it'd be easier to answer the questions that way.
Also, you've been like a kind of part of our like crack research team, I guess, as well, because the amount of times where we've had a question and we're like, someone can tell us this in the comments, and then you to the rescue, like, I know this. Meanwhile, my top production team in the Discord is like, oh no, we don't have time to answer these like frivolous questions.
Yeah, so somebody else hopefully in the chat will be able to do the Google searches. Since I won't be there to do them.
I'm going to give a shout out particularly to Galaxy Kate, I think, right now in the chat. I think she may end up being that person. Also, there's a comment that says, holds up a sign with a sewing machine on it. Sorry, could you actually explain that? Because I guess that's really down to your research.
Right. So yes, I do a lot of research involving craft in general, and I am also a quilter. So I do spend a lot of time around sewing machines. I'm actually sitting next to one right now. But looking at different ways that craft can inform computation, and computation can inform craft. Basically, you've got some chocolate, you've got some peanut butter. What can we make with that?
So it's funny because I literally never heard of any of this until I think you and I met the first time like 3-4 years ago or something like that. I think it was at FDG maybe, or
I think it was at Dagstuhl.
And Dagstuhl as well. Because I was actually thinking, when was the last time we saw each other? And it was either at Dagstuhl or FDG 2 years ago, when it was in Malmo.
I think it was at, oh no, I was at Malmo. Yeah, but I wasn't, I don't remember seeing you there.
No, we did actually. I think I saw, you know what it was? I only turned up for that FDG for one day.
Ah, that's what it was. Okay.
Because I saw you that one day. I think it was the workshop day. I managed to turn up for the PCG workshop, and then I had to get back to the UK because something was on fire without me. I don't know what it could possibly have been.
Nothing's on fire now.
Oh yeah, the UK is absolutely fine. Like, Mike, it's okay. You can come home.
Everything is just how you left it, Mike. You're fine.
Yeah, which says, oh, actually, yeah, that kind of speaks for itself. The one thing, though, actually, I was thinking about, because I haven't seen you in a little while, and it's so nice to see you again, was Dagstuhl. We had a great time hanging out at Dagstuhl a few years ago. And so I was at Dagstuhl last December for an event. I think it was December. Time has no meaning anymore. And one of the things I was really excited to find out was whether they'd kept all the crafts from our last visit. So, I mean, do you want to explain this, or will I explain this? Like, how do you want to tell this story?
Sure, I'll tell the story. Yes. So it was Thanksgiving when we were at Dagstuhl, and many of us were missing our families and whatnot. And so we came up with the great idea of making hand turkeys, because this is obviously a thing that everybody does at Thanksgiving if you're 5.
And so, also if you're American.
If you're 5-year-old, if you are American and 5 years old. And so I say we, Julian Smith was the other person in on this. I had brought a bunch of like scrapbooking material, and I don't remember why. I think to give it to Julian, because it was easier to see her in Germany than in America. And so we brought it all out, and we had everybody make hand turkeys, where you put up your hand and you draw an outline, and then you turn it into a turkey. You cut it out, and then we made a collection of them. And I am happy to tell you that I actually received official notice that it got added to their permanent archive.
Oh wow, fantastic! Because I remember that evening quite well, because I think you'd already went away and set it up, and we were in the kind of social common area. And I remember you came over and were like, I think it was yourself or Julian. It was probably Julian. Like, Tommy, come and make a hand turkey. I'm like, make a what? And then I did it. And I put a lot of time into it. I was really proud of my hand turkey. I was really pleased with it. And then I walked away, and people are coming over, and they're like, what was that all about? I'm like, I made a hand turkey. No, what do you mean you made a hand turkey? I drew a turkey with my hand. Go over there and make a hand turkey. And I started bullying other people to do it. Which, when a slightly inebriated Scottishman comes over and goes, get over there and make a hand turkey, like, people just do it. And it was so great to see so many different, because also all these people are not American, so they don't really understand like what's going on, like, well, you're doing what with your hand. And so yeah, when I was at Dagstuhl at the end of last year, I went out on a hunt, because I was like, surely they've got these turkeys somewhere. And I actually, like, at one point, it was like 2 a.m. I might have had one too many to drink, which is often the case. I was wandering the castle trying to find these turkeys. And I eventually found them. They're in the new building, the new annex building that some of the guests were staying in, and they were in a meeting room. And there's me at like 2 a.m. standing there like, found my turkeys. And I could finally go to bed. And it was, I didn't find them until like the second last day or something, because I'm like, surely they've kept them.
I'm so happy you were able to fulfill that quest.
Yeah, level up.
Yes.
Absolutely. But yeah, it's a very fond memory I have, and so every time I'm like, I haven't spoken to Anne in ages, I immediately start thinking about hand turkeys. Which
I'm trying to figure out how to put this on my CV, because I got some collaborative art into a permanent archive at a castle in Germany, right? So how do you put that on your CV? Maybe somebody can Google that for me.
Like, also just getting all these different respected academics. I mean, I was there, but it doesn't. There was other respected, notable academics there going out and making hand turkeys. I think that's absolutely amazing. Beautiful. Right, we should probably get on with the actual programme for the evening. I can already see our top production team is typing furiously over in the corner there. So let's get on to our first correspondent of the evening. So given that we've had all the conference tracks and we've also had the workshops throughout the week, the thing that we haven't really had a chance to look at is looking at the demos and competitions. Like, we actually have people that are dedicated to running the demo sessions, the demo tracks, as well as having the competition tracks and everything else. So what is great is that we're hoping in a minute, if people come in, we'll actually get our I'm now checking because now people are aggressively panicking because they can't seem to get the production thing to work. The idea is that we're going to get in one of our correspondents. We'll actually have two correspondents dedicated to the demos and competition tracks. And this is going to allow us to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's happened at these events, but also specifically we're going to be looking at one of the competitions, which we're going to deal with our second correspondent. But fortunately, all the technical problems have now subsequently been resolved. It looks like we have our first correspondent of the evening. Please give a warm welcome to a PhD student at Queen Mary University of London, Raluca Gaina, everybody. And of course, we'll have obligatory applause.
Yes,
there we go.
I can't hear that, but I feel welcome. Hi.
Yes, sorry, you can't hear any of the platitudes that come your way, but the audience hear it.
So you can imagine it as, grandiose as you want, basically.
Yeah, do lots of those, please. Thank you.
How have you been enjoying your FDG?
Very good. Yeah, it's been quite fun. I've not been able to catch up with quite everything I would have liked to and get involved as much as I would have liked to, but it's been really good. Best virtual conference I've been to so far.
I think this is kind of a recurring theme for everyone, and we were talking about this offline before we came on, was like how much of the conference you're not catching on a given day because you're trying to do a full, I think it was Anne, you said it's a full-time conference with a full-time job, and then you end up just like completely exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But speaking of which, so Raluca, you are the chair for the demonstrations track here at FDG this year. So tell us a little bit about this year's demonstrations. What's out there to see, and how can people find out more about each of the demos that's out there?
There are lots of things to see. So we've had 6 demos in total, out of which we have 4 games and 2 different tools that can be used for different kinds of research. And some of these are really, really relevant at the moment. We have 2 games that are specifically about dealing with pandemic times and times of isolation and not really being able to interact with each other that much. So that's very cool. And we have also VR games that are really nice and immersive. I think people were really impressed by the presentations earlier there. And the tools were specifically interesting. We have one that is meant to be used by designers to help them in creating different levels for first-person shooter games, and gives you feedback as you're creating the level as to how balanced the game is or how much players die in specific areas, which is really, really cool. Really cool stuff.
It does sound cool. So these games, the games that are about dealing with COVID, have they figured out how to deal with COVID?
That'd be good to know, actually.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out still.
Play the games and you'll find out.
Good job.
If they work, yep. Good advertising there.
How can everyone actually find out more about each of the games?
I think they should all be available on YouTube. I don't know if the authors will make all of the videos public, but hopefully they will. If you are in FDG, there are specific Discord channels where you can actually find all of the abstracts or even links to where you can play around with the different games and different systems, download them and try them out yourself. So you can check if they do work indeed.
Excellent. Is that you finished then for FDG? Are you able to put your feet up for the rest of the week, or? Pretty
much. Yep. This is just me enjoying Friday.
I envy you somewhat. Still, then again, the rest of the internet still has to deal with me for another night, which is also problematic. But we'll get there eventually. Anyway, Raluca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great evening and great remainder of FDG.
Thank you.
Excellent. Alrighty. So there you go, everyone. That was Raluca Gaina from Queen Mary University of London telling us a little bit more about the demonstration track. Sorry, not the chair she is the chair of the demonstration track. This is what happened. I'm now 3 days into this, and I'm slowly, I don't know if you've noticed, but like my hair has even stopped being all the way back. It's now just parted. So at the end of the next one, it's just going to kind of fall over my face. I'm gradually losing energy with every evening of doing this live stream. This is clearly, I don't have the resource behind me to make this as best I can. Anywho, let's get on to our next correspondent. So like we said, we already had competitions this week as part of the conference, and we're actually catching up. We're actually catching up on one of the particular conferences, and one that I actually have a lot of involvement in. I've actually been a judge for this competition for the last 2 years, and the final results for the 2020 run of the competition have just came out. So without further ado, allow me to welcome Christoph Salge, a research fellow at the University of Hertfordshire, who is the organiser of the generative design in Minecraft competition. Christoph!
Hey, Tommy!
Hello.
I'm reporting live to you from inside our Minecraft server.
I'm inside Minecraft!
Yes. I'm at the FDG 2020 Minecraft conference room here that I specifically built for this to chat to you.
So it's like an actual proper conference hall at the moment. It's just absolutely empty.
So I think Christoph has done more to prepare for this than, well, certainly more than I have anyway.
You had a top production team supporting you, though. I think that's the big difference.
Absolutely.
Top production team.
True. No, I mean, I'm grateful for the whole team we're having. I mean, Rodrigo, Mike, even Christian and Julian, they've all contributed to this, and it's made this possible. So yeah, big shout out to them.
So yeah, this is a collection of all the different entrants that we had this year. So actually, if people don't know anything about GDMC, also we've just had our FDG cat has just popped in. Sorry, Anne, what's your cat's name again?
This is Zoe.
Zoe. There we go.
Hey, Zoe.
Excellent. This conference has now significantly improved with the addition of a cat. So yeah, Christoph, for anyone who's not familiar with the GDMC, could you give us a little run through about what's happening, what it's all about, and like what we're seeing while you're actually flying around inside Minecraft?
Absolutely. So basically, GDMC is a competition about building an artificial intelligence that's supposed to build an interesting Minecraft settlement. So we believe that, building something that fits into existing content is a core part of human intelligence. And so maybe a machine should do it too. And for this competition, basically, our competitors have to submit code that puts cool settlements into Minecraft that react or fit into the existing map that's already there. And ultimately, we want to extend this to kind of real co-creativity so people can actually build together with these AIs, and we want to see how well that works. But here we're basically doing the other thing around. So we have this server, and the AIs built a lot of stuff in there, and now humans can come in and continue building here. So you could even be on this server now and go around and punch holes into walls. Like, I don't know, you can go up to this building here and say like, ooh, nice. And now it's broken.
I like how that's a key feature you're advocating for here. Not look at all this wonderful generative content. Like, you can punch this generative content.
No, but I think it's cool to, it's cool to actually have some generative content that you can interact with and play with and actually further modify, right? I mean, it's often that we build these things and then they're out there and we go like, look at this. It's like a finished piece of art now, and you have to admire it under glass.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, to be fair, I did when I was judging, and in fact, anyone who was watching my YouTube channel over on AI and Games, we did a bunch of streams. We did 3, I believe, where I judged every entrant for the competition live on the internet, and I did punch an awful lot of this generated content. Not out of malice, it was just I was trying to get around, and the easiest way, because I don't play Minecraft a lot, so I forget how to open doors. I'm just like, right, just punch the door.
Punch them.
It's a very Scottish response.
Yeah. No, and today we actually announced our winners, and so this is actually, I'm right now flying over the settlement of the winning entry. So this really nice piece, it builds a wonderful wall, has all these nice functional fields. There's a lot of stuff in the houses. So if you actually end up joining the server, information is on the FDG Discord channel. you can hop in and you can actually still score a diamond set of armor from a chest here. Like, pro tip. Let's just look at this. No, wait, this is a chest with all the turnips and potatoes. So, but I think maybe over here somewhere you could probably find some really, really nice equipment. Maybe here. Yes. Wow, look at this. This could all be yours. If you're fast enough.
Wow.
Yeah. I missed a trick. All of a sudden, I've also noticed Zoe's left us. Apparently, this generative content does not maintain the attention of the average cat.
Yeah, I don't think you want her judging, just in general.
I think that's a new axiom for next year, is indifference.
Cats would be great at that.
And so if you just collected, so you've got all these different maps from the different output generators and you've put it all together. Also, I remember quite a few of these from judging. And there is, I think one of the interesting things from my perspective, having judged it 2 years in a row, is that there's been a significant increase in quality, like a huge improvement in the output from last year versus this year. And that's not to speak poorly of last year's work. Last year's work was fantastic, but what's evidenced here is a lot of the stuff that's happening is people are actually building off of good examples from last year and then using that as part of their generators for this year. So like you even started in one of those high-rise buildings, which they were actually appearing in last year's submissions.
Indeed, yes. So basically, a lot of code reuse happened, and this really punched up the quality of how the whole thing works. And I think that's been quite evident. So that's been one big improvement. And I think the other thing was this time we're seeing a lot of like procedural, like big set pieces. So like, for example, the city wall I showed you, which like adapts to the environment, but there's also like this massive pit, which actually really nicely signposts like an underground mining structure. So you can see there's like walkways all around here, and all of this was made by the generator. Oh, there's actually Rodrigo, one of our co-organizers. Oh, and there's a spider. See, but it's running away from me, so probably. Hello.
Yeah, just the amount of diversity between the different buildings and the structures is really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've also really happy. We've attracted a lot of like, I think, submissions from around the world. So we have like a group in Japan that put in several submissions. We've got some American submissions. And I think that kind of diversity also shows like kind of in the cultural preconceptions about how the buildings, are set together. And it's really, really nice. I mean, funnily enough, both the very traditional, I think, settlement with the Japanese temples and torii gates, but also these high-rise buildings were both made, I think, by Japanese groups. There's also a monorail here, by the way, in case anybody of you wants to ride a monorail.
Excellent.
And Rodrigo, has managed to sneak his way into the live stream by saying hi on the server, and it's appearing in the chat. Fantastic.
Yeah, so we're landing on this helipad here that I've also built. So I've actually made some human additions here just to kind of showcase. So this is actually really fun. And I only discovered this while I was playing it, is that if it is made by a generator, I feel less bad of kind of taking it over, right? I mean, if this was built by a human, I'd be like, I'm trembling on somebody's creative vision. But now I'm thinking, the AI won't mind. Let's build my penthouse in here. And I can like welcome you to this penthouse and we can have some cake.
Well, on that note, I think we might have to wrap up, just as you invited me into your house for cake, which, depending on how that could be misconstrued. Yeah, save it for later when the cameras are off. Sorry, wait, hang on. I'm going to spoil it already for the end of the show, but it's fine.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope I'll see you around here and we can have some cake together, Tommy.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, everyone else who's watching, do go and check it out. You can actually find out on the Discord server how to get involved. Thank you very much, Christoph. All right, excellent. And we're back up and running. So that says we've had both Raluca come in and talk a little bit about all the kind of demos that we've seen today, and then of course, Christoph, thank you once again. By all means, if you do want to find out more about that competition, shameless plug at this point is that over on my YouTube channel, AI in Games, we've done a number of live streams to help to go through the judging process for this year. But also, I actually did an episode on the GDMC competition last year. So it gives you a complete overview of everything involved here. Okay, so let's actually get on to the first of two guests that we have this evening. So our first guest is a PhD student currently at New York University. Please give a warm welcome to Megan Charity. Also, obligatory claps and honks, which none of us can hear, but it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. But you know they can hear it out there. That's the important thing.
Have you confirmed that, actually?
Have I confirmed? All right, hang on. Right, you guys talk among yourselves.
Yeah. How are you enjoying FDG, Megan?
I love it. So this is my second ever conference, and my first conference was also virtual. Yeah, I'm fresh in the PhD program, so this is all new for me, but it's extremely exciting. So
I'd like to say that this isn't how it's going to continue, but
that's what my lab mates have been telling me.
This is completely normal.
The anarchy.
Hey, I'm having a blast, so I'm okay with it.
I was going to say, I think the anarchy of the social element is actually quite common, but it's just the means by which the social interaction is taking place. This isn't usually how we do it. Also, I can now say thank you to Tristan and Isaac, who've both confirmed they can hear the honk, and also to Henrik, who just replied back, honk in Swedish.
Now, did he actually say honk in Swedish?
No, but it's got the two dots on the top, which I forget what they're called, and someone's going to slate me for it in the chat. Umlauts, there we go. I thought it was an umlaut. I wasn't sure. Anyway, enough about them. They're just watching. Let's actually let's get to our guest. So yeah, Megan, so you've got a paper that you've got presented here at FDG, and then also you published something over at COG as well, if I remember right. Is that right? Yeah,
yes,
IEEE
that was the Baba's Yaw project that I worked on.
Yeah, actually, please tell me a little bit more about this, because I missed an awful lot of COG, and then Mike Cook, being the Twitter fiend that he is, was just suddenly screaming Baba is y'all into Twitter, and I'm like, what is going on? What is this? I need to find out more. Please do share with the world.
Yeah, so have you ever played the game Baba Is You? It's an indie game that came out, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. I have no idea what year it is in.
Time has no meaning.
No.
Exactly, yeah. But it's like this puzzle game, and it's kind of like Sakabon, except you push the words around instead of like these blocks, and these words are like the rules for the game. So for example, if it's like you're surrounded by a wall, it's like you have the words wall is stop in there, and if you break that rule, then the wall no longer stops you. You can just move throughout the level. So it's really, really fun. So what I did with this project, Baba's Y'all, was I made it a crowdsourced mixed initiative kind of level designer, so people can make their own levels, but then there would be an AI in the background that was also generating these levels. So it's this really it's kind of like Super Mario Maker, but for Baba's Y'all, and also there's AI involved, and it's telling you what levels to make. So it's a really big, really fun project, and it's just it's got so much potential.
Sorry, I've actually just been informed by the Crack production team that, Megan, you also have a cat.
Yes, I do. Would you like to see her?
Yes.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Not that your research isn't important. We're going to get back to your research, absolutely. But this is the cat episode, ladies and gentlemen.
What's your cat's name?
Effie.
Effie. Oh my gosh.
Yes, Tommy. I know you're from the UK, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so there's this TV show that I used to watch in my undergrad called Skins, and it had a character named Effie, and that's what I named her after.
There we go. So that's going to be a pop culture reference that only maybe about 4 people at the conference are going to get, but I appreciate it nonetheless. That is amazing.
It was a fantastic show. I loved it.
And so Baba Is Y'all is already quite an amazing, that was particularly when I heard about it, and then I went away and read about it afterwards. That's a really cool idea, something that hadn't came to mind. And then this week you also have, let me read the full thing. Mechelites, because it's an academic paper, you have to have a colon in it, otherwise you're not doing it right. Illuminating the mechanic space of GVG AI, and you published this alongside Michael Green, Ahmed Khalifa, and Julian Degalius. So this is all about GVG AI and its kind of diversity in the levels that you can. This is on the level generation side of the GVG AI framework. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So actually, Mekulis came before Baba Azal, and Mekulis kind of like led the way into Baba Azal. So this is like the precursor to the project that I did, even though the conference at COG was before this conference. But yeah, so we're in this case also generating levels, but in this case we're using the mechanical space of the GVGAI game. So like we use Zelda, plants, Solar Fox, and real portals, and we just kind of took all the mechanics within the game. So like Zelda, you pick up a key, you go fight an enemy. You go pick up a key and fight an enemy, and you just generate levels where you the AI agent has to perform these actions, and then from there, the AI just tries to make the levels look better and better towards like a certain fitness, and then using that, we just kind of try to cover as much space as possible, so we have every single level combination with like the different mechanics that are going on. Sorry, I just kind of like breezed through that.
No. And so in your talk, you were also talking about minimalism, and because you're looking specifically at tutorial levels.
Yes. So when you're playing a tutorial level, you don't want enemies everywhere. That's just like that's too overwhelming. You just want like as few enemies as possible, or just as few sprites as possible, just to like get the job done and see. Okay, you just need to go pick up this key over here. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about like all these enemies over here. So why not just make a level where there's just the key? Like there's nothing else to worry about. You just got that one key in the other side of the screen. So by having like this minimalist kind of fitness, we told the like generator AI, okay, just drop as many sprites as possible. Just make it look as clean as possible. But also try to like have different sprites around so we can have different mechanics going on and stuff like that. But with Baba Azal is kind of like the opposite thing that we want. We want the levels to look more aesthetically pleasing. So not necessarily like minimalist, because that just makes a boring level. So in this case, we use that's why we had it crowdsourced, so we could have the human users put in like nicely designed like puzzle levels that have like, you know, sprites that may not even matter in the end product, but they look good for the whole level. So like the AI can learn to be, I guess, more creative when they're generating these levels.
Interesting.
I'm just feeling really bad now for my first year of my PhD because I didn't get anything done. I gotta be honest.
I'm not gonna lie, I did Baba Azal and it was like 2 months because I really wanted to go to Japan for my first conference.
I'll tell you actually, because that happened to me. My first conference was in Honolulu, which of course, being in Scotland, you're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. It's nice and sunny over there, and they still speak the lingo for the most part. They don't understand Scottish people for the most part, but you know what you're gonna do. And I went with a poster paper, which in hindsight was absolutely abysmal. It was terrible, but I distinctly remember Julian of all people stopping to talk to me about it for like what felt like 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure it was like 7. And then I'm standing there like nursing a drink, just like, oh Jesus Christ, this guy's asking me a lot of questions, because I knew who he was. I've been reading up on his research, and I'm like super nervous. Oh God. Like I nearly put my hand through the cup. I was holding it so tightly.
That was me when I was giving this presentation today. Just like, oh God, if someone asks me questions, I gotta like know everything about this project I did like a year ago. Like I was so nervous.
I think usually
you did great.
I mean, yeah, sorry, I didn't actually see it, but I need to catch up. But I think one of the key things. One of the key things.
I almost missed it myself.
One of the key things though is if people are asking you questions and they seem really jazzed about it, that's, you know, people are on board. People just want to find out more because they're really, really psyched about what you were doing, which is, I can imagine, which is both a positive and a negative, because you're like, oh my God, people are interested, people are excited. Also, I don't remember because this was like 6 months ago and so much has happened since. Oh my God. So yeah, I've been there. So what's next for you? What have you got on the docket?
Oh man, where do I even begin? So I'm starting because I did Baba Azal in 2 months. The UI, it looks god awful. So I'm revamping the UI and making it a lot cleaner and a lot more user friendly, and not like I just did it in a month, and just like, you know, just making it look like an actual kind of like web framework. And I'm adding more features to it too. So there's going to be like, oh, users can like share their levels, and I'm going to run a user study with it too, just to see like what motivates people to like make these levels. Cause I think there's like over 200,000 levels that still need to be made for this whole framework. So yeah, that's my next step. It's just Baba Azal 2.0.
Very exciting. Very exciting. I definitely need to go and find out more about this, because I had a look at Baba Azal, I think after Mike originally posted, and I haven't played Baba Is You yet, so I was just kind of looking at it going, do I play the original game first, or do I start doing the new thing? I didn't. I'm the worst. I think that's what it is.
No. I was told to put a tutorial section in there, and I just never got around to it. So I will. That is also in Buzz Y'all 2.0. I'm gonna have a tutorial. This is how you play the actual game before you start making levels for it.
Also, I think I definitely am the poorest member of this particular crew because I don't have a cat.
Gotta get on that.
I'm taking over.
I mean, yeah.
Bye, Tommy.
Tomorrow, right? Yep. Cool. Hang on. I'll just.
All right. Well, welcome to FDG-TV. It's going to be me and Sullivan, and we have our guest here, Megan Charity. And I've actually gone to your talk. Unlike, oh, he's back.
Don't mind me. I've just got to press the buttons. That's all it is.
It's okay. We forgive you, Tommy.
Please do.
Okay.
I'm just a man.
I've also played Baba Is You. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm going to send you some.
You're fired. We'll get you a severance package soon.
Yeah. They're not going to pay you your check now.
Shade
Oh, wow.
was not what I was expecting
Just
from
cut
my
you off
co-host
completely.
tonight. That was not what I was expecting.
Oh gosh, sorry.
I've had
Somebody
incompetence,
should have warned you.
I've had bumbling niceties, but I've not had shade. This is a whole new level. Absolutely, and I can now see our top production team is like furiously typing into the corner of my screen now. Stop it! Stop walking off camera! Stop walking off camera. So yeah, what else? What are you looking then to spend with the rest of your downtime, Megan? Anything you're looking forward to checking out for the rest of the conference?
Oh, oh man, I literally made like a list of like the presentations I wanted to go to, and I like saw I think like 12 like yesterday and the day before, so I'm just like furiously writing down notes of like, oh man, I gotta check this paper out, I gotta read this previous people that they worked on from, and like I gotta check out their system. So I think tomorrow I've got like a full day. I'm looking at different presentations. There's a lot of stuff going on with Minecraft that I'm a Minecraft generation kid, so like I'm always a big fan of Minecraft stuff.
So are you gonna take part in the competition next year?
I might. I was never good at like crafting in Minecraft. My job among my friend group was going out, getting resources, and killing stuff. So
Absolutely.
Well,
Sorry, Anne, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the good thing about this competition is that you don't have to do anything. You just make an AI that does things.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's why I got into this research field in the first place.
Takes all the legwork out of it, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's so much easier than just doing it yourself.
Yeah, you make a good point. I'm just worried like my AI would build like boxes everywhere and be like, yes, this is our city.
It probably looks like Mike Cook's house at the moment because I believe he was just moving this week. So poor fella, he's just going to have flashbacks to what his house looks like at the moment. Anyway, we're going to have to wrap up now because we've got to get on to our next guest. But Megan, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute blast.
Thanks for having me.
And
yes, I had so much fun. Thank you.
We'll hopefully see you around more for the rest of FDG and at future events as well.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see y'all both at different conferences, hopefully in person too.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Take care. That's us. We're just about wrapping up for this evening of FDG TV. And once again, a thank you so much to Raluca, who came in as our first correspondent to talk about demonstrations, to Christoph for coming in talking about the GDMC, and then of course to our two guests for the evening, Megan Charity and Raphael Kim. Let's go and check back in with my wonderful co-host for the evening. Hey Anne, how are we doing?
Good. I'm ready to go this goes for another half an hour, right?
We got at least another 2 hours, I believe.
Okay, great.
What, did you not get that? I don't know. Was it not in your contract? I have it in my rider. Someone's going to bring me a bowl of Skittles soon with all the purple ones removed because I'm really fussy that way.
Yeah, good. Are you off? You should ask them to like bring in some bread so you can start your own mold colony.
I've probably got enough moldy bread lying in my cupboard if I actually go and have a look.
No.
That's quite depressing. No. I think we're pretty good at this. I'm just quickly checking in with the chat. Once again, everyone's saying I should have a cat.
Agreed.
Julian Tagali says if I had a cat, my cat could watch the videos. I don't know whether he means these videos or my other YouTube channel, but anyway. Galaxy Kate said, so sad to miss Raphael's talk today, given that they love microbe/non-human interactors. Antonius over in the production chat has just sent me an emoji of a dollar bill, which I think is all I'm getting paid.
Yeah, this is what he says. This is all you get. Maybe if we charge overtime, we'll get like 2 emojis.
Maybe we could just set up a GoFundMe for like supporting this endeavor for the rest of the week.
That would be the most sad GoFundMe ever.
Watch as Tommy gets berated by all of his co-hosts for a whole week because he doesn't have a cat. Although Galaxy Kate says I should get a chicken.
Chickens are pretty cool. Actually, we could do a GoFundMe for you to get a cat.
A hypoallergenic cat.
Yes, I was gonna say they make hypoallergenic cats and dogs.
I know, but I feel so. Even my wife has said, like, oh, you know what, you should get one of those hypoallergenic animals. But I've always used my allergy as a basis to get away from the reality that they're just going to poop everywhere, and I don't want to have to deal with it.
Okay, definitely get a cat.
Okay, cool. Because at least the cat might hide it.
Yeah. Hopefully not too well.
We'll find out eventually. Ladies and gentlemen, this is FDG-TV, the only post-conference talk show where we will talk about cat feces.
This is why we get paid in emojis, by the way.
Yeah, that's why we're not getting paid. Also, actually, I remember there was a comment way back at the start of the session tonight that I noticed because we were talking about when we caught up the last time, and we're pretty sure it was FDG. One of our correspondents from last night, Miriam Elitari, said, oh yeah, you met Tommy and the 3 of us, we had coffee in that hotel in Malmo. So clearly Miriam remembers it all much better than we do.
Yeah, actually, over in the production channel, they also pointed out that I was running the PCG workshop and you actually gave the last talk.
So I did. Which was the whole reason I was there, not to close the session,
for one day.
But it was I had one talk to give, and that was the talk that I gave. I love it. You'd think we're on top of this.
That was at least a decade ago, right?
Oh, it
in
feels
COVID
like
time.
it feels like an eternity every time, like until you get to the next conference and you get to see everyone again. And it's one of the horrible realities, I think, of conferences, as great as they are, because we're all over the place, we're all over the world, and also some of us, we're so interdisciplinary as well that I think FDG is the only place, and well, Darksteel is really the only places that you and I actually bump into each other, because a lot of the other conferences we wouldn't overlap. But we do have a top support team, according to Antonius. He's just kind of like checking in with us to make sure that we're okay.
Yeah, he wants us to not worry. Now I'm worried.
Yeah, I'm worried too. If he's telling us not to worry, it's like, okay, time to worry. And now he's I can't deal with this. This is too much emotion coming out of Antonius in like one short segment. Anyhow. So what's up next for yourself? And actually, I do know one thing that's coming up for yourself is that you're back on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that.
Surprise.
Cool. Yeah, I think I'll be here even for it. So that's good.
It's funny because actually my show running document is being live edited by someone as we speak. Is it you that's actually coming in and deleting yourself from my list of who's coming on? It's like, you know what, I changed my mind. I'm not coming on tomorrow. It's fine. So yeah, just as we're wrapping up, thank you once again to everyone who's tuned in to FDG-TV, and a big thank you, of course, to Anne Sullivan for being my co-host. You have been the best co-host, I think, that I've had so far.
I will try not to moon you on my way out.
Right, yeah. So in case people aren't familiar, Julian did threaten to moon me off camera last night, but thankfully I think his common sense got the better of him. But also,
shut the window.
You've brought cats and dogs, literal cats and dogs, to this event. So that's one thing that
procedural cat generation. Am I allowed to shill my paper, by the way?
Go for it.
Okay. So now I feel really self-conscious, but my paper is also in the running for Best Paper Award. So it talks about how crafting systems in video games actually resemble, let's see, let me try that again. Fighting systems in games actually have more in common with real life craft than the crafting systems do. So it's basically a paper that looks at crafting systems and games and talks about how they could be improved.
Got till the end of tomorrow.
Yeah.
End of the session before the last session tomorrow to vote for your favorite paper.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm
sorry.
not telling you which one to vote for.
Yeah, please vote for your favorite. No, you do not have to vote for mine at all. But definitely take a look at the papers. I think there's 6 and they're all excellent. So check them out. Vote for your favorite.
Excellent. So as we wrap up, so tomorrow night, we've got, let's see, I'm just having a quick look at what we've got. We've got another co-host. I do believe there's a good chance that Mike Deal With It Cook might be coming back. I heard that there was a petition that had been raised to have him come back on the basis that I was really bringing the overall quality of this show down. And so everyone just wanted to bring Mike back. I think it might actually be better next time if I don't host and maybe we just get Mike to host and then we can just bring all the other co-hosts back. I think that might actually be a better show at this point. It'll at least be, people will understand it better. Because I think the longer it goes on and the more tired I get, the more Scottish I become.
I think actually having you both co-host and then bringing in a third would be fantastic.
They kind of balance each other out. Like I said, it's like the Gerard Butler and Hugh Grant of games research. I think it kind of works out that way. You can decide which of us is which. More of a James McAvoy, I guess, than a Gerard Butler. But anyway, so let's see, having a quick look at what we've got so far on the schedule for tomorrow. We have Correspondence on the panel on story generators, which I believe Anne is going to come back and join us. You might do that. You might not have the choice. Also, we're going to have Kate Compton come on and join us, which is going to be fantastic. We have 2 more guests. First, we have Enrica Loria from Fondazione Bruno Kessler in Italy, who's already got an exceptional paper here at the conference, as well as also Maggie Saif El Nasser from Northeastern University, who was also the chair for game analytics and visualization, and is also listed on 4 papers. So we're going to get a chance to talk to them about their research. It's going to be really exciting. I've been told that we've ran out of dollar emojis, but I also have it here in big bold letters, more surprises to wrap up FDG 2020. So I'm really hoping that they get round to announcing what they are, because I don't know what they are, and it's my job to tell you. So, yeah.
Well, if you told them, it wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, but I need to know, because I tell them, and
Maybe our top production team will come in and they'll say.
Top production team. I think we're all just cracking under the pressure of trying to do this for 4 nights in a row. Anyway, Anne, thank you so much again for joining me, and also to everyone else, thank you so much for joining us tonight for FDG-TV. And of course, an obligatory close-up. Stay safe and have fun, and we'll see you tomorrow. And it's going to get even bigger when I'm back tomorrow. Take care.